He's Rick Tyler.
And he's Dan Cashman.
And I'm Rich Armstrong, president of the Snowman Group. And I'm on the Ric and Dan Show.
In Maine, we often hear,
"You can't get there from here."
these are the stories of the risk takers.
The trailblazers.
Those who turn obstacles into opportunities
every day and found their way
to get there from here.
And today,
They're on the Ric and Dan Show.
can you settle a controversy that still exists today?
Sure.
How long has the company been in business?
It would be 94 years.
94 years later, can you finally tell us, is it Snowman or Snowman?
Yeah. So it's like Bangor and Bangor.
Yeah.
Snowman.
It is
It's
Snowman?
not Frosty. Okay. It's Frosty the Snowman, but it's Snowman Printing or the Snowman Group.
We figured if it were the Snowman Group, your logo would look much different.
Yeah. Well, the old logo did have kind of a snowman in it.
That's why people think it was Snowman.
Well, those aren't really, it's not really, it's rollers on a press as well.
No, it's a snowman.
See that?
I'm sorry.
Rollers on a press?
No.
Can you push that our way?
I think it's time for our first Ric and Dan Show poll.
We'll post this and you can judge for yourself. Maybe that's why people think it's Snowman, because it looks like a 3-circle snowman.
The only reason why they think that is because they got their words in front of it.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
You go, oh, yeah, those are rollers.
But
Yeah.
why not just reverse this snowman so that the rollers are,
So he has a fat head like you and me?
biggest to smallest?
Dan, there's no bad way to pronounce it.
Okay. Just don't
As
call
lo-
it late for dinner,
As
right?
long as they're pronouncing it.
All right.
Snowman.
Okay.
Snowman.
I'm on board now.
Maybe I should put an I in there. Snowman.
Here's my problem now, because I had always pronounced it snowman, and now that we've had this conversation, I'm going to have to think before I say it. Every single time it comes out of my mouth, there's going to be a pregnant pause for 2 or 3 seconds while I remember this.
They don't say cash man,
They do
Okay.
call me late for dinner.
right?
I've been called worse, but some people call me cash man.
When you got mugged in the park, someone said, hand over the cash, man.
They
did.
You turned around
That's
and
right.
thought, oh, you know me.
Yeah, well, they thought I had cash, though. That was the part that they didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe years ago it was Snowman, but the original founder was Harlan P. Snowman,
Okay.
and he worked for the Bangor Daily News.
Oh.
He was a pressman way back when.
So
A pressman or a pressman?
Pressman. Pressman. That's politically incorrect. You can't say that.
press person?
Yes.
It's 94 years ago.
Don't we just
It's
call
fine.
them reporters now?
Press it.
Press it real good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Harlan?
Harlan.
Harlan.
Yeah, not Harlan. 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 Harlan.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
So Harlan's working for the then Bangor Daily News. It wasn't the Wigan Courier or whatever it was back
no,
then.
1932.
Okay. 1932, working in the press room. Working in like the reporter press room or working with the presses and making.
Yeah. He was like, set type, put the type on the press, put the paper on, and it presses up against the sheet. And so he went out on his own.
What inspired that?
I don't know. I don't know much about him. There's only 2 owners that separate my father, who bought it in the 70s, and Harlan sold it to a Henry McBurney. I did know him. He was a really good guy, but he only owned it for a couple of years. And my dad used to go in to get his printing and just joke and go, "Hey, Henry, when are you going to sell me this business?" And ha, 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 ha. And he'd leave. And then Henry called him up and said, hey, were you serious? And of course, me and my father go, "Hey, let's talk." And that's how it started.
How long of a conversation was it?
I didn't really ask those questions. I was into, gasoline and perfume, so it didn't really affect me.
Well, how old were you at the time?
I think it was 8th grade, so it was ramping up,
Yeah.
perfume, gasoline.
I'm going to have to Google that.
Should I have to get rid of my paper route?
Is there anything in the existing location that harkens back to when Lynn was running the operation?
As far as equipment, no. Everything's changed. We do have, photographs and we have some memorabilia, but as far as production, no.
I wondered if there was a Gutenberg press over in the corner.
Right. There's a picture. I think I've seen a picture. What's the guy's name who's like the historian in Bangor? Dick something.
Shaw?
Yeah. I think that he posted a picture or someone showed me a picture of Snowman way, way back, like in the 1930s. And it was dark and dingy, and I couldn't even tell you what the equipment was. It was just like, wow.
And what were they printing back then?
Just, everything like they print today, but it's just a lot slower, a lot less variables. Your font you might have had, 10 choices of fonts.
2 or 3 fonts, that's it.
Right. It's not like the Adobe font.
Yeah. Do you get nostalgic about that sort of stuff? Do you like the history of the business, or is it maybe less relevant to you because you came in later?
I don't get nostalgic about much. I live in the day. I mean, I love the fact that there's history there, and I think it's super cool, but I embrace all the technology as it comes because it makes you better. It's not cheaper. I can tell you that.
Upgrading costs money, but if you don't, you're left in the dust.
You get left behind, and you got to take chances,
What's an example of a chance that you can recall?
Well, moving from Bangor to Herman, that's a big chance.
When you were in Bangor, you were at?
We were on Harlow Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, before Harlow Street, we were on Franklin Street. And then Franklin Street, there was that big development from a developer. And my father got the notice, hey, by the way, on this date, you're out. And he's like, uh-oh.
No negotiation, no talk.
No.
Where were you on Franklin Street? It's not a very big street.
You remember that glass awning that used to go out onto the street?
Yeah.
That was Snowman Printing, or HP Snowman.
That was a bar, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rick, you would know.
It was. It was at McCarthy's on the half shell, and there was another one there. And
wasn't there a Pepinos in there for a time?
Could have been. Could have been. I was off. Didn't live here at the time. I was shipping out on tankers, and I came home and I'd go there, but I couldn't really tell you much about that. At that time, my dad had moved to 408 Harlow Street, which is that last building out on Harlow Street that's now that sprinkler company.
Yep.
And that building was built in like 1861.
Easy to heat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I lived there. I lived above the print shop.
Did you?
Yeah. Wow.
That must have been loud.
Not really, because
I meant for them, not you.
Oh, it could have been. Yeah. I remember when my dad said, hey, come to work for me. I'm like, what do you do? Because I was out by that time, so he explained it. But when we moved I met my wife down in Massachusetts and moved her up here. It took her about 9 years to adjust. I think she's adjusted now. But so my dad
put
said,
that down on the to-do list. Check with Rich's wife to see if she's actually.
My dad said, you can live right above the print shop. We got 3 apartments. And I'm like, oh, God. That's going to suck.
And how long did you stay there?
2 years.
Yeah.
We stayed there from like 1990. No, we probably stayed there probably 2.5 years because in 92 we had Ryan, and then we moved to Hamden in 1992. So we lived above the print shop, had a baby. It was great. I loved it. I didn't think I would, but it was so convenient. I didn't like shoveling the sidewalk every storm.
No.
It was horrible because the city would go, that's your sidewalk. I'm like, no, it's not. They go, yeah, it is.
Yeah, you're paying taxes on it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I'd shovel it, and then I'd hear the they'd fill in the sidewalk again. I'm like, what the son of a... And my dad would look at me and go, you knew your role.
Yeah.
Welcome to adulthood.
Yeah. So I just have to, where are you going to put it? There's a building in the street.
Yeah.
So you got to put it back out in the street. You asked me nostalgic. Oh God. I love being out of that building.
Yeah.
It was a good building, but it was built in 1861. We operated on 2 of those floors. It was 4 floors.
I got to imagine your scale of operations probably necessitated the move.
Try to run a 10,000 pound press on a wooden floor. It vibrates, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And on concrete, it doesn't. And you can run it so much faster. Everything's better quality. Yeah. But it all comes with a price tag.
But when you lived above the press, the business, did that vibration on the wooden floor, did that reverberate up to your apartment? Did you kind of constantly feel that motion when the business was operating?
Linda never complained. I have no idea.
You have no idea?
No, because we didn't operate at night.
Yeah.
I was working. So I do know that between the bottom floor and the next floor, we had to, we had to support that whole floor with, massive 10 by 10 beams, to hold that weight.
Sure.
Hardwood's great, but it's only so strong.
Yeah.
And getting the paper in every week. I marveled at the truck drivers. They had a kitty corner across that dangerous corner. And then we had to, step over that weird angle with, cartons of paper, heavy. And I'm not talking 11 by 17. I'm talking like 23, 35.
Yeah.
Big cartons of paper. But I was young and strong. I never do it now. I go, my back, my knee. Oh.
I bet there were days when you wished that your commute was longer, that you didn't have to just walk downstairs and walk upstairs.
Oh, when I lived there, not really. It was cool. Not much bothers me. It was like, okay, you walk down the 20 steps and then you take a left and go in the front door. It was great. And then when we moved to Hampton, driving in, that was great too. We did that for, 10 years or whatever.
When we were all working from home, I didn't mind that commute going down to my basement, but there was one day I looked at my watch at the end of the day and I had taken 100 steps and I thought, oh, something's got to change.
Yeah.
That's why my sweatpants are tight.
Yeah, no, it was good. Even my wife liked it. So if your wife likes it,
Yep.
you're going to like it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem. If she hated it, it would have been miserable, but she didn't. It was good. And my dad and I got along great. So it was always good to go to work. I've never disliked going to work. I always loved it.
How exciting was the move to go from the Queen City just out the outskirts of town, just to Herman?
It was exciting, but it was exhausting. It's a huge step. You're trying to run a business, you're trying to maintain sales, make payroll, be ingenuitive, and build a building. And when you build it's a 30,000 square foot building now, but I think then it was like 20. And it literally started on a napkin. My dad and I were at Dysart's and we were like, man, and we started with a loading dock. That's how we started the building with a loading. So we kind of drew it out on paper and then we looked all around. We didn't want to move from Bangor. We looked in Bangor, Brewer, we looked all around. And then I'm like, geez, I know that the Dysart's have a bunch of land out on the Colebrook Road. So I asked Mary and Mary said, hey, go talk to Tim. And Tim said, geez, actually, we're thinking about putting a development out. We got a kind of plans laid out. So we bought our 5-acre lot before that development ever went in. And of course, our road is Printers Drive. Mm-hmm. And they did that in honor of us, which I thought was awesome.
That's cool.
Just a super good family. That road didn't even exist for the first 2 years we were there, with the promise of it coming across the front of the building. And to answer your question, it was just so awesome being on concrete. And it was so cool. My dad had a grand opening, and we had there was a huge tent, a ton of people came. There was a girl playing, I don't know, some stringed instrument. What are those ones you sit in a chair and you?
Cello?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and she was really good.
Don't get me started about cellos, man. That's my subject matter expert area.
Ready? So. Sounds like that was good. That was quick.
Thank you.
You sit in a chair and you cello.
Well, people listening couldn't see. He had his left hand was up around, I guess, the neck of the cello, and he had his hand like on the little wandy thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was charades more than anything
thing.
else.
That's what I would call it too, the wandy thing.
Lucas Richmond would like to talk to you about joining the Bangor Symphony Orchestra now.
Yeah, I did play an instrument for a while.
What's that?
Not the cello.
No, the saxophone for about 4 weeks. I liked the way it smelled. When you open up that case and...
Why didn't you play that during the grand opening?
Oh, ADD. That wasn't for me. So I was probably more of a drum guy.
Okay, ADD or capital A, capital D, capital D.
What's that mean?
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah.
You said ADD.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have ADD lowercase ADD or capital ADD, meaning I've got it and I've got it really bad? It's a challenge.
Oh, no. I just get bored with things that don't interest me. If I'm interested, I'm all on,
We're lucky to have you have sat with us for at least 15 minutes now,
I know.
Because we're risking losing you at any moment now.
I feel like this is a win.
No, in school, boys, if they don't like it, they check out. English, boring. I love math and, I have an engineering degree. I like that stuff. But, when it came to like stuff I didn't like, it's like.
Where did you earn your degree in engineering?
Maine Maritime.
Oh, MMA.
Yeah. I went to MMA. My brother Mark was my partner in the business. He went to MMA. My son Ryan, who is a partner in the business now as well, he went to MMA. So a lot of Maine Maritime history.
Is there arm twisting there, or is it just natural?
Natural.
Really?
Yeah. And we get along great. We're so blessed that way. There's no fighting. We don't argue. You might have a better point than me. So I get it. I'll come out, yin and yang. Mark's different than I am. He's an engineer and I'm an engineer, but we're different. When we first got out of Maine Maritime, we worked at General Dynamics in Connecticut building submarines. He had an electrical crew. I had a piping crew. We worked on the same subs. It was pretty cool. He left and went out shipping, and then a year later I left and went out shipping. Just General Dynamics was great, and it was super cool to be involved in that. And we were in this, it was called the Career Development Program, and they because you were young and handsome and fit, they would say, okay, we want you at the launchings, so you got to walk all the VIPs' wives down to the front row, and you had a front row seat when they took that champagne bottle and broke it on the bow. When you're that young, 22, you have no idea how cool that is, but it's cool, right? But in retrospect, I'm thinking that was really cool. But General Dynamics is one of those massive, massive companies, where I worked in Connecticut had 20,000 people. And then they transferred Mark, and then they transferred me up to Quonset Point, Rhode Island. And they had 6,000 people, so it wasn't half as big, but they built 60% of the sub. And then the other 20,000 put it together. It was all union in Connecticut, and a lot of just, you're like, $1,000 toilet. Well, I get it, because there was just a lot of like super redundancy. And it bothered me. So that's part of the reason why I left, is because they gave you all the responsibility in the world to make budget, make you guys do stuff. But, they didn't give you any control. You couldn't fire anybody. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go shipping. If I don't, I'm going to regret it. So I went out and worked on oil tankers. And then my dad called me in the middle of the ocean and said, hey, you're going to be getting married. What are you doing? And I go, I'm shipping out. I'm watch, Dad. I'm in the engine room. What's up? He goes, why don't you think about coming to work with me? And I'm like, what do you do? So he explained it. And I was living in Massachusetts at that time, where I met Linda. And I was like, money really didn't mean anything to me. I was always like, I want to go back to Maine. I always loved Maine, right? I like to hunt, fish, and snowmobile. And so that was my opportunity. And, my dad put it, hey, listen, you're going to make a lot less money now, but in the future, you won't. So think long term. I was like, okay. So we dove and went, instead of 2 cars, we had 1 car, lived above the print shop, and had a baby, had a mortgage, and it was all good. It's always been good. Just awesome. Very, very blessed. And I have to say that I have a super strong faith. So I don't really get stressed out. I just let it go. It's not really in my control.
Not everybody has that.
No, but my parents did a really good job, especially my father. My mother was like one of those, mysterious Catholics. I'm a Catholic too, but she was like, don't look in the tabernacle. You go straight to hell. And I'm like, what? Mom, it's a box. Come on.
I never knew that. I was an altar boy. I looked in the tabernacle all the time.
Yeah. Well, you can. It's just supposed to be reverent when it's open. But my dad was from South Boston and my mother was from Dorchester right next door. And
the Dorchester tabernacle. Yeah, that one is rough.
Yeah, she's from Dot, and all my relatives are from down there. So my mother had all these superstitions that I'm like, what? Those don't make sense.
Is the don't eat meat on Fridays during Lent, is that real? Because that's I struggle with that.
Yeah, I still don't.
Yeah, I don't either. Although I did have a vegetarian tell me once that pepperoni is a spice. So I'm all in on pepperoni pizza. And I feel like when I'm at the pearly gates, I'm calling her up. Yeah. And I'm like, hey. So
my brother Mark's really good about knowing why I do it, but I do it just because I want it.
Yeah.
I want to eat it, but I don't eat it just because it's kind of a sacrifice, like Christ sacrificed for us. So it's kind of a reminder. And we go to Gagan's, and the bartender there is awesome. She's like, wait a minute, you're not eating meat? Is it Lent again? I go, it's not Lent, it's Lent.
I got to brag a little bit. When the Friars had their bakehouse down here, I told them that I loved a tuna melt with bacon. And so they put it on the menu, their menu as it was, it changed every day, and they called it the Cashman. And so I told Brother Don at one point.
I'm sorry, it was the Cashman.
That's right, Cashman.
Not man.
I told Brother Don at one point, he said, we're going to have that on the menu Friday. I said, Brother Don, it's Lent. I can't have bacon. He said, well, what do you have? Just a tuna melt? I said, no, I put green pepper on it and have a little salt so I get the crunch and the salty taste. So then he had the Lenten Cashman on the menu that Friday. It was maybe the biggest honor I've ever had in my life.
That is cool. My problem is that there's nothing I don't like.
Yeah, same.
Finish your food or there's no dessert.
There were kids starving in Whittapitlock. That's what I got from my parents.
Yeah, it was China for me.
China.
That ship sailed.
We were in Presque Isle, so they had to point to another community.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The only thing I really didn't like is liver.
I've never tried it. I like everything. I've never tried liver.
Yeah, my dad loved it.
Oh, my dad loved it too.
Yeah.
At Dysart's.
And thank God we had a black lab and he'd live under the table so you could pretend you were eating it and you feel this nose and like, ready for dessert, Mom.
What was the black lab's name?
Bess.
Good.
Bess.
Yeah.
Good dog.
Yeah.
Good pup.
Yeah. I bring my black lab to work every day.
Yeah.
His name's Jet.
Jet Black.
I love it.
Pretty creative.
Yeah, it is.
How much time do I have left? You're making me nervous looking.
No, I just got a reminder that it's Lent and I can't swear.
That doesn't say that.
Yeah, that's not a rule.
No.
I blew that one.
I'm not Catholic. My wife is. We've raised our kids that way.
Yeah.
And on this day, I had an egg salad sandwich. I brought her a tuna salad sandwich. We're having a meat-free charcuterie for dinner tonight. Oh. And I have been trying not to cuss at all. Let me tell you, it's getting harder and harder, but I catch myself. What did you do?
Fillet of fish.
I've known you a long time. I don't know you to cuss that much anyway, but I gave up candy for Lent. And some people say, oh, that's easy. Walk through the halls of this building. There are 4 candy bowls constantly filled. Yeah. And I have just instinctively reached and said, nope, Lent, can't do it. I've probably lost 5 pounds since Lent started.
It's like Willy Wonka lives here on the weekends.
I also gave up TV during the week.
Oh, I could never do that.
That was a tough one. I was trying to really reason you really don't need to.
So are there any major television events that you...
March Madness? I mean, you can't watch March Madness?
Right. Well, plus all the streaming.
Yeah. Well,
you can't see episode 3 of season 5.
You said the Olympics. You gave up TV. You didn't give up your iPad.
I don't have an iPad.
You could stream something, right?
Here, I'll let you borrow mine. You can bring it with you.
No.
The Olympics, I still have a residual Olympic fever. I could not have gotten by those 2 weeks without watching the Olympics. And some of that was during Lent.
Yeah, I know. No.
Wow. My hat is off to you. No. Candy seems so insignificant now.
No, candy is a big one. I'm a sweet tooth. Love candy.
Me too.
I couldn't have given up the Olympics because of curling.
Curling. Lindsey Vonn, my heart broke when she broke her leg.
But how would we have done if the Russians were in it?
I don't know.
Right? Hockey-wise?
That's different. I would have sent in a sketch artist in order to send me back some images and show me a guy with no teeth. Oh, we won.
That USA game was awesome.
I think it's sad that they had to melt down the gold medals to try to refill their teeth.
I got a text and said, can you imagine if that happened in the NBA? I said, yeah, they'd cancel the game. And the guy will be out for the year.
Yeah. Yeah, not there.
It's like, you followed me. Oh my gosh, I'm flopping on the ground like soccer.
Follow through and scored the goal.
Get the stretcher. Get the stretcher. It's a miracle. He's in 5 minutes later.
That's this different kind of miracle.
Yeah, this guy's picking up his chiclets off the ice and going, game on. Yeah.
What are you printing these days? Because we don't print like we used to print, but we're still printing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be printing.
Right. You name it. So you have a mailbox. Yeah. And is it still filled with stuff?
Oh, my word. That's you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome.
Don't swear. Yeah. Don't swear. Don't swear. Swearing for Lent. Don't swear. Don't swear.
Son of a gun's okay. Son of a gun. Don't say the other one.
So a lot of that stuff.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, from your simple, your business cards to your letterhead. Not much letterhead, really. Everybody prints it out, so why would you?
Yeah.
But anything that ends up in your mailbox, and banners and signage and what you put on your side of your vehicle, and we do engraving, and if you go into a trade show, you had a full color name tag, or if you had notary seals or notary supplies, you name it. Go into any place and look at any printed literature. That's what you did.
What was the board meeting like where you sat down and realized this thing called the internet is here? Things are changing. We need to change and evolve with it. What can we do? Ideas. Go.
Yeah, I think that was more of a slow burn. And the internet was more of a slow burn, but you had to be thinking, this is going to change things. There's no question it's going to be less. So there is less printing, but there's less printers. We used to have like 14 printers around here. Not anymore, because, you have to get out and go out and get it. In printing, you're not going to be inventing something that is an epiphany. If you're really good, you should be able to do it just like the customer wants it every time, consistently. And there's a lot of printers that can do that. So what separates you? Customer service. It's really, it's like, hi, Mr. Rich, let me help you. I'm like, this is my, I've been on call for like, an hour and you're my 5th person. And you just called me Mr. Rich, but when you call and they say, oh, hi, Rich. Yeah, no problem. Hold on just a second. And they give you an answer within like 30, customer service. Yeah. Or you're proactive on the customer service and you reach out to Rick and say, hey, Rick, your job's complete. It's going to deliver tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, great. Thanks. That human touch, AI can't fix that. We all get those emails that say, hey, Dan, just in case you didn't see my last email, you're like, AI, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Can we park the bus here just for a second? Man, I'm no expert, but it's now to the point that much like you could recognize cello in charades as quickly as you did, I'm really, I think, getting pretty good at recognizing AI text, especially shared in social media.
Do you get texts? You get AI texts?
I think it's a text, text.
I'm referring to text that I would see in social media, an Instagram post, something on X, something on Facebook.
Not your personal cell phone or something.
Well, you say that, and for some reason, a couple of things happen. I have been getting some stuff, and the patterns, the flows, the verbiage that I'm seeing, it's really flagging to me like, that's not OI. That's not organic intelligence. That's AI. Yeah. Or heaven forbid, SI is next, but that's a topic for another day.
I'm only going to send you texts that run through ChatGPT from now on. Now that I've told you that, you'll figure it out pretty quickly. So I got a text the other day,
and it said, hey, recipient name here. and the rest of the email was wordsmith, and it was good, and it came from a person that I knew.
Yeah.
But you're like, dude, you forgot to put your name in there. I'm like, oh, you caught me. I use Grok, instead of ChatGPT.
I've got both. Yeah. And I do occasionally a compare and contrast, and I'm just about to jump into that to see if I can see much of a difference. What do you get from Grok that you're not getting from Chat?
Everybody's using ChatGPT, so I use Grok. Everybody has an iPhone. I have a Samsung.
Oh, my dad has a Samsung.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No.
Takes better pictures.
You're the reason we get green bubbles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, my friend, I didn't get your text. Something's wrong with my phone. I never get your texts because he's an iPhone guy.
You know, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, villains are not allowed to use iPhones.
I know, right? You look at they're always holding an Android.
Yeah.
Yeah. How cool is that? That's enough to just have one.
Are you from the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yeah, Iron Man.
That would explain a lot.
He's the Snowman.
Yeah. Don't get out the blizzard, please.
I wonder if there's going to come a time that we are getting so enthralled with electronics, because I think there's more to come, and AI, that when you do go to your mailbox and you get something that's actually on a piece of paper that's printed and sent to you, the feeling of value might skyrocket.
They've already proven that. You know, actually print is coming back, especially to like the millennials. It's like they actually get the haptic feedback of, and it's proven that if you actually read a book and you turn the page versus, you do it on Kindle or electronic device, you actually retain more. If for some reason the haptic feedback from turning the page and in a book and physically holding the book versus holding an iPad and reading it electronically, I know myself, if I'm reading something on a screen, my eyes get way tired way quicker than reading a book.
Definitely.
You're like, man, my eyes are killing me. They've actually proven that mail is actually coming back. Now, you'll see a lot of things won't come back just because, you have a lot of nonprofits that are, you're going to send that magazine out or whatever. We can just email it.
Yeah. But
no one reads it. So you still have a lot of the schools and a lot of the bigger nonprofits, and they still do print because people read it. It's an easy line item to eliminate. But then why don't you look at your donations? People still do a lot of appeals, when they time them right, but they're doing more targeted appeals now. It used to be you blanket it. Now it's like, okay, I want to go to this specific area and I want to target people with this income that have kids that own a house. Bang. So you go from 50,000 to 3,000, and you can request that database from us or any other printer and say, listen, can you give me these parameters? And then they can decide, I want to mail to, the 18 to 50. Instead of 18 to 30. It's more, but I want to get that demographic too. So demographic specific mailing is here to stay. It's way more accurate.
You know who's wearing us down? Viking Cruises.
Oh, yeah.
One day, Elizabeth and I were curled up and looking at Viking Cruises and thinking, we want to take a riverboat cruise. We want to go see like the Rhine or the Rhone and see the castles and the food and everything. And then we flipped to like the last page and we saw everyone that was on the cruise was so old. So we stopped. We didn't say yes.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks, we started getting, and I'll bet all the money in your pocket, Rich, against all the money in Dan's pocket. In the next 7 days, we'll get another brochure from Viking Cruise. Once it's there in your hand, you can't. What was the episode of Mad Men when the phone was starting to come in and they were doing work for the telegram company? And the guy, Draper, said, you can't frame a phone call. Short phrase, but it really solidified. You know what? There is and always will be a special place for print and printing.
Yeah, I completely agree. And you see it, high quality images look so much better in a printed piece of collateral, printed piece of material, than seeing them in a bulk email or even on a website.
Educating your customer too is big. It's like, well, this looked a lot different on my screen. And I'm like, well, screen's RGB, red, green, blue. But when you print, it's CMYK.
Yep.
And it's either an ink or toner or inkjet, and it will look different. So if you really want it to look exactly the way you receive it, request an actual copy.
So you mean those people in that book aren't really as old as they look? And
No,
we should
was
go
I on
the
there?
cruise? No.
Yeah.
No.
They're all mid-20s.
But I will point out, some friends went on one of those cruises, and they are not that old, and they said it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
All the old people go to bed at 6:30. You've got the boat to yourself. No lines at the bar. The buffet is yours. Dance until midnight.
Plus the where they go, it looks so cool. My parents did that.
Yeah.
My mom said it was awesome. I still have my mother still alive. Yeah.
Very cool.
88, driving, living by herself, tough as nails. Oh yeah, everything is like an immediate crisis. My computer! I clicked on this picture and it won't open. You don't have to come now, but please. And so I show up. What are you doing here? Why? What are you doing here? I go, Mom, you asked me to come on. Well, you didn't need to come now. Why you're here though?
There's this picture issue.
Oh yeah.
And the trash needs to be taken out.
I consider my
Shovel
mother.
the sidewalk.
My mom is awesome. She's just, independent, tough, funny. She doesn't think she is, but she's pretty funny. And, here's a girl that came from the city girl,
Which city?
Boston.
Yeah.
But she loves Maine.
Yeah.
He fished more than my dad. My dad was your classic, he was a dandy. He shot a great big buck, and that was the only one he ever shot in like 1974. And I'm not going down there. My mother used to love to drive with me because my mother's go, hey, let's go down that road and see what's down there. And hey, let's go look in the windows. It doesn't look like any. That's abandoned. I'm like, cool, let's do it. My father goes, Mary Ellen, I'm not doing that. No way.
Did your dad work too hard?
I don't think there is such a thing. If you like what you do, it's work too hard. I sometimes think about that with myself because, I don't typically take vacations. I don't take time off, but I don't miss it. I could. I like to work. I'm a bull. I put my head down and bull forward. I'm more concerned about other people taking time off than I'm time off.
Sure.
I'm sure there'll become a day, but did my dad work too hard? He enjoyed life. Him and my mother took time to take trips and, but he was never one he would always say, never stop striving. Never. So, and that's kind of without really even thinking about it, that's how all of us have been.
How long did the two of you work together? You and your dad?
Oh God, probably 20 years anyways, at least. Yeah.
Do you get nostalgic about that at all? I know not necessarily the physical parts of the business, but that piece of it?
Or maybe wish he was around to talk through something. And
Yeah, he was like, he's my buddy. But, I look at it, you go through those stages of grief. I think it's been 3 years, but, he was just such a good guy. But I saw him grow through the depths of Alzheimer's and, and he wouldn't want to live like that.
No.
And it was, so when he did go at St. Joe's Catholic Hospital, when he did go, it was like a blessing in disguise, right? And it was funny because I said to my mom probably a year ago, I go, Mom, because we talk about everything. I go, Mom, what was the hardest part when you lost Dad? And they were married, 65 years, something like that. I said, what was the hardest part about losing Dad? Was it like when you lost him? Was it like after everybody left the funeral? Was it like a week after? And she said, none of them really. She said, I was very relieved that he wouldn't have to live like that because he wouldn't have wanted to live like that. And that's my mother.
Yeah.
She's not not a crier, just a real practical person. And she's right. The way I look at it, I was so lucky to have a father that was just a great guy, that didn't drink too much, that didn't beat you. Well, maybe a little bit. Everybody got beat back then, right?
Different times.
Yeah, I'd probably deserved it though.
Was there a belt involved? Because I hear lots of stories about the belt.
Oh yeah, belt. And my mother had a big spoon, and she'd nail you with that.
Wooden spoon?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, big cook stand. She
The pain sticks a little
She
longer
wouldn't be
with a
afraid
wooden
to
spoon.
slap you.
No.
I mean, if you cussed or swore, or she'd backhand you. And then if that didn't work, you wait till your father gets home. I mean, but that was real in my house. And my dad traveled the state at that time doing, he was the publisher of the Maine Snowmobile newspaper. So he was going all over creation, creating clubs. So he'd get home like midnight. And I'd be asleep because my mother wouldn't let me leave the kitchen. So I'd be laying in the chairs in the kitchen. You put all the chairs around the table and almost like a bed, and then I could hear his car come in, and it was a Volkswagen Beetle, and you could hear with the emergency brake. I'm like, oh, here he comes. And so he'd walk in, as a kid, you don't realize he's probably exhausted.
Yeah.
So he comes in the kitchen and he's like, oh God, what'd you do now? so yeah, my boy talked to Mom, and he's like, just go to bed and we'll talk about it in the morning. And he always forgot. It was great. You didn't want to get in trouble with my mother because she'd never forget. And my father would like, you're going to your room for 6 years. What? Make it 7. So, and then he'd go to the next day, what are you doing in your room? I'm like, you punished me. He goes, well, just go ahead, go out.
So after Lent, we need to get Rick in front of your mom, and then that wooden spoon will come right back out.
I'll reach for the thermostat because that's usually what got the wooden spoon out in our house. I fill the tank and you don't crank.
Yeah, well, there was 6 of us. So, and I said to my mom, Mom, you were kind of mean when we were growing up. And she goes, mean? I was crazy. She goes, what do you expect? I had 6 of you and 4 of you were boys.
Yeah.
She goes, I had to rule over you. I'm like, that's a really good point.
No, I think I know where you got it.
Yeah.
We talk a lot on this show about obstacles, business obstacles, and you had said a little bit earlier that you don't really get stressed out about much and you kind of face things as they are. But there must have been some sort of obstacles other than the giant snowbanks, some sort of physical obstacles that you had to face. And what were some of those on your path to where you are today?
Immediately when I started, it was like, oh, it's the owner's kid. He's the rich kid, and we didn't have much.
Right.
I mean, you're not printing money.
Right. But, the impression was that. So literally within the first 2 years that I joined the company, we had mass exodus and they started their own company. Yeah. The manager left, the pressman left, the bindery person left, and I think there was one other person gone. That is a big thing to get over.
Yeah.
So you just got to go get it on. Get it. You got it. There's no choice. You can't go back.
Am I allowed to ask what the name of the company was that they left to form?
They're still kind of around, but they're not here locally.
Okay.
Yeah. But the people who left, they're not in that business anymore. They lasted about maybe 10 years or something. And then they sold it to somebody else. But yeah. And stole stuff. And my dad
stole stuff from your business.
Yeah,
from
to start their business. Yeah.
Wow.
And my dad was like
equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine like talking to customers. Hey, buddy, come on.
Yeah, and there was like we had like infrastructure stuff. Like we had a big container of like Romex and electrical tools and this and that. And it was just missing. I didn't dig it.
Right.
Wasn't me.
So and it could have been somebody else, but you have to assume. But my dad was really good. He was like proud of them to go out on their own until he wasn't, because the manager came up with all the pricing, and then when he left, he knew what all our prices were and went after every single one of our customers, saying bad things about us. Unfortunately, 90% of our customers were like, no. And they got a couple of big ones because they actually had relatives in those companies. But hey, listen, it all builds metal. I don't ever wish anybody any ill harm. Good for them. We never looked back. And continued to grow. But that was a real challenge. I've had people come in and, oh, you let so and so go, and they throw the key on my desk. I'm out of here. And this is after this same person. We saved their house. They were going to lose the mortgage, so we paid it for them. The car was broke down, so we fixed the car, bought them new tires, but short memory.
Yeah.
Short memory. Literally threw the key, bounced it off. I'm out of this effing place. You let so-and-so go. And, but we always have come out on the other side better. I can't stand being around anybody with a bad attitude. And I tell everybody that I hire that. I'm not even going to ask you if you have a bad attitude, because everybody thinks they're great. I said, but once I find out that you do have a bad attitude, you're going to be gone. I just can't. I spend more time here than I do with my own family. I'm not going to be around people who bring me down. I want to come into the shop and I want to be able to walk around and everybody's happy. And that's the way it is now. And it's awesome. I love going to work, friends with a lot of these people. We've recently had a big, a challenge where you have a key person. Key people are key. And all of a sudden they come down with pancreatic cancer. That's a killer. You don't typically come back from that. So that's a blow to the side of the ship. But the ship has got to keep moving and keep going in the right direction. So it's how you handle those challenges. There's been many challenges, Dan, but as I say to Ryan, because he's been with us for a couple of years, I go, Ryan, this is nothing that I haven't been through before. And we'll always come out on the end of it, on the other side of it better, because you just pray about it and be proactive and hire the right people and we'll be fine. And always be looking for opportunity, in something different. Years ago, it used to be that the process of making a rubber stamp was hot lead, pressed into Bakelite, pressed into rubber on a heat press, and now it's all laser. You hit a button, it's changed. But it's great. I love technology. It's cool. Some of it I don't like. I'm not a big TikTok guy, but that's generational.
Is Ryan ready?
Oh God, yeah. He's like Ed Jr. He's gifted. He's just and I don't say that because he's my son. Obviously, I am biased, but he's got it. He's got it. And he's got a wicked strong faith. He's got a good family. He teaches Sunday school. He's almost done with his master's degree at Babson. And he's aggressive. He's got big thinking. He's got fresh thoughts. And now it's just gaining the experience in the business and in the HR and making decisions that count. He'll take it to another level, I'm sure. And super glad that he is, because I need a retirement,
Will he call it Snowman?
I think he's going to change it to Snow Women because we got to do the next 100 years that way.
Snow people, snow persons.
Snow people.
Thanks for listening to the Ric and Dan Show.
Next show, we're giving out free SNH green stamps.
Ooh.
If you like what you heard, don't suppose you'd click that subscribe button.
And maybe leave us a review on your favorite listening platform.
5 stars are our favorite.
And next time you hear someone say,
"You can't get there from here,"
you tell them to listen to the Ric and Dan Show.